costs nothing. That is the biggest lie ever told. Real love might be free, but the image of love, the fantasy, that costs everything. My name is Adam, and I am going to tell you how a red box, a borrowed suit, and a single lie destroyed 3 lives. I grew up in the dust, watching the city lights from a distance, dreaming of being a king. I wanted the world to look at me with envy, but I learned the hard way, that if you wear a crown you didn't earn, it will eventually crush your neck. It started in the VIP section of the loudest club in the city. The air smelled like expensive perfume and desperation. Farha was there with her friends. They weren't dancing, they were hunting. I could see them whispering in her ear, chirping like birds of prey. They told her she was too pretty to struggle. They made a pact that night, a cold, calculated promise that if a man didn't drive a luxury car, he didn't exist. It was Valentine's season, and the sharks were circling. I walked in, but I wasn't a shark. I was a minnow in a shark suit. The loafers were too tight. The Italian jacket was stolen from my friend's closet. The car key spinning on my finger belonged to a Mercedes I couldn't even afford to fill with gas. I was Adam from the village, with exactly enough money in my pocket for 1 round of drinks. But in that dim light, with a borrowed gold watch glinting on my wrist, I looked like the answer to her prayers. I saw her looking. The hunger in her eyes wasn't for food, it was for a savior. I walked over with a swagger I couldn't afford. I told her I built empires. I told her I was looking for something authentic in a fake world. It was a performance, and she was the perfect audience. I took her for a drive in my friend Super Zach's car. I drove fast so she wouldn't ask too many questions. I took her to the marina and pointed at yachts I didn't own, whispering promises about our future. She ate it up. She posted me everywhere, captioning photos with hashtags like my rich Valentine and blessed. For 2 weeks, I lived a double life. By day, I was dodging my landlord and eating instant noodles in the dark. By night, I was the king of the city. But every time she smiled at me, I felt sick. I wasn't falling in love. I was falling into a trap of my own making. She felt safe with me, but she was living in a house built on sand. Then came February 13th. The pressure was suffocating. Her friends were bragging about their gifts, and Farha was expecting the world. I was at Super Zach's apartment, house sitting while he was away, and there it was, on the dresser, a red velvet box. Zach had bought a diamond necklace for his fiancée. It cost more than my life's earnings. I stared at it. The devil on my shoulder whispered that it would be easy. Just borrow it, he said. She wears it for dinner, takes a photo, and I return it before Zach gets home. No one gets hurt. I convinced myself it wasn't stealing. I convinced myself it was just temporary. I grabbed the box. The velvet felt soft, but my soul felt heavy. Dinner was a blur of anxiety. I took her to a place where a glass of water cost $5. When I slid that red box across the table, her eyes lit up brighter than the chandelier above us. She opened it and gasped. She told me she loved me. She told me she knew I was the one. She put the necklace on, and everyone in the restaurant clapped. Her friends cheered from the next table. I smiled for the cameras, but inside, I was screaming. I was a thief being applauded for his crime. I thought I could get the necklace back the next day, but she wouldn't take it off. She slept in it. She showered in it. It was a trophy. And then, the hammer dropped. 2 weeks later, we met at the park. The sky was gray, matching the pit in my stomach. She told me to sit down. She looked nervous, yet happy. She whispered the words that usually bring joy, but to me, they sounded like a prison sentence. I'm pregnant. The world stopped. The birds stopped singing. She thought she was carrying the heir to an empire. She didn't know she was carrying the child of a fraud. She started talking about nurseries and bigger apartments near the water. I couldn't breathe. The walls of my life were closing in, crushing me. I knew I had to tell her. I had to end it. We went back to the apartment so I could confess, but fate beat me to it. The door was unlocked. Super Zach was sitting in the dark, waiting. He didn't yell. He didn't need to. The silence was louder than any scream. He just looked at me, the friend who betrayed him, and then he looked at Farha. She asked him who he was. She asked why he was in our house. And Zach, he just laughed. A bitter, cold laugh. He told her the truth. He told her that the couch she was sitting on was his, the clothes I wore were his, and the necklace around her neck was stolen from his wife. I watched Farha's face crumble. The adoration turned to confusion, then to horror, and finally, to pure disgust. She screamed at me to tell him he was lying. She begged me to show a receipt, but I had nothing to show her but my empty hands. She didn't scream, she didn't fight, she just looked at me with eyes full of tears. And then, full of nothing, she realized that the man she loved didn't exist. She reached behind her neck, unclasping the necklace I stole to buy her love. She dropped it on the table. The sound of that metal hitting the wood was the loudest sound I have ever heard. She didn't say goodbye, she just walked out the door. I tried to follow her, but Zach stopped me. I lost my best friend that day, too. He told me to leave and never come back. I was back on the streets, but this time, I had no dreams left to keep me warm. Farha didn't stay in the city. Her friends, the ones who pushed her to find a rich man, the ones who judged me for my shoes, blocked her number the second she lost the status. They left her alone. She had to go back to the village, pregnant and broken, to face the parents she had left behind. She went looking for a king and found a ghost. I tried to call her, I tried to write, but my letters came back unopened. She didn't want my apology. She wanted the life I promised her, a life I never had to give. Now, somewhere in a village I can never return to, there is a child growing up with my eyes, a child who will never know his father, all because I was too afraid to be myself. I wanted to be a rich man for a moment. Instead, I became a cautionary tale for a lifetime. So listen to me. You can borrow a suit, you can borrow a car, you can even borrow a diamond, but you cannot borrow a life. Don't build a home on a foundation of lies, because when it falls, it doesn't just hurt you, it crushes everyone inside. If this story touched you, or if you've ever felt the pressure to be someone you're not, please like this video. It helps us share this truth with the world. And if you want to hear more stories about the real cost of life, love, and ambition, subscribe to the channel. We have many more stories to tell. Until next time, stay real.
This Valentine will be red.
This is amazing. I love it. Yeah.
This Valentine will be hot. We gon' paint the town red and then should jump together. This Valentine will be hot. We gon' paint the town red and then should jump together.